Does freshness of a job posting matter? Hi, my name is Shelley Piedmont, and I am a former recruiter turned career coach. And I want for all job seekers to thrive and not just survive in their job. So let's say that you've come across a job posting and you look at the date and it's a few weeks after it's posted, maybe even a month or so, and you're thinking to yourself, should I even bother? Well, we're going to talk about that in today's video. And my answer is going to be maybe. And here's the criteria you should think about as you're deciding whether to go ahead and apply. When you look at that job posting, and if it really seems like something that you would be interested in and you would be good for because you're very qualified for the role, then I would say go ahead and apply. And here's the reasons. First of all, you have no idea what is going on with that employer and that particular job posting. Okay, so unless you've got inside information, you have no idea. You don't know where they are in the process. They could be at the beginning, it could be at a middle, it could be at the end, but you don't know. So if you think you're well qualified, I would go ahead and make that application. Because, as I said, you have no idea. You could be the best qualified person they've come across. And a recruiter will see your application and potentially think, yes, this is the person I've been looking for. Let's go ahead and bring them into the process. That won't always be the case, but it could be the case in this particular situation. So yeah, go ahead and apply. Now, I will tell everybody, and that's not just for the situation where you're applying late, but it really does help when you are applying later, is to try to find someone internal in that organization who can be your advocate. This is important, especially if you're going to be applying late, because that person, whether they work currently in the organization, maybe they're a former employee, or maybe they're affiliated some way. Maybe they're a client, a supplier, whatever that may be. If they have the like, know, and trust factor that that organization feels towards them, then them coming to the organization and saying, hey, I know so-and-so, and they're applying for this job, and they would be really great, and these are the reasons. That can sometimes be helpful in fast-tracking your application, especially if the process has been going on and it might be in the middle range of the activities. That way, a recruiter may then see your application, know that it's important for them to go ahead and screen, and then they can quickly move you through the process to catch you up with everybody else. Now, this will not happen all the time, but it can happen sometimes. And so that's why pair this with applying. It can actually help you. If you like this, I appreciate it if you will like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, another reason why the date may not be quite so important on a job posting is it can be the type of role where they're always looking for people. And in that case, they're going to continually open up these job postings. So whether you apply the first day, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, is not going to make a huge difference, because when your application comes in, they are going to immediately look at it and look at your qualifications to see if you would be a good fit for the job. So there are those types of situations where it could be that they're not hiring one person, they will be continually hiring, and therefore the date is not that important. But let's admit it, coming in quicker to the job posting and getting into the system as opposed to later does have its benefits. Now, the first benefit is when you come in earlier, there's just less competition. So a recruiter is going to look through the applications, and in their mind, they have certain requirements that they're going to need for anybody to move forward. So you're going to have to meet those requirements. But then it may be a matter of comparing you to your competition. Well, if your competition is smaller, then it may work to your advantage because you might look better in comparison to that smaller competition. So that is something to think about. The second thing is that if you're going into the application process sooner, then your application is going to be reviewed sooner. And what may happen is as soon as people are identified, they may move to the next step in the process, which may be screening or interviews. So you may be able to get quickly into the interview part of the hiring process. If you apply later, as we discussed, that can be somewhat problematic because if they've already started that hiring process and are deep into interviews, even if you have a referral, they may go, hold on, we would love to have talked to you, but now that we're so far into the process, we can only put you on hold. We're going to continue with the people we have. If something happens, and people fall out, maybe we'll bring you in, but at this point, we're just going to concentrate on the people we already have. And the third reason why applying earlier can have its advantages is if it is a position where that recruiter gets a lot of applicants. We're talking hundreds, even thousands. In that case, the recruiter may look at the total number of applicants and go, wow, my thought process is going to be, I'm going to go through the applicants until I get to the number I am looking for to screen. That's the best use of my time. And therefore, if you come later, you may not get the recruiter to look at your application. This shouldn't be the way. The recruiter should look at everybody. But when the numbers are overwhelming for the recruiter, then what may happen is they may have to take shortcuts. And one of the shortcuts could be that, in fact, they're going to look through the number of applicants until they get the number of qualified people that they're looking for, and they may stop at that point, or they don't stop, but they're going to do a lesser review, or they're only going to just sporadically look at the rest of the applicants as they have time. So that's where applying early can be advantageous. But just because you apply early doesn't mean that you're going to move forward. I think important things always to remember here is you need to be very qualified for the role. So that means that it's important to tailor your resume for what the job opening is looking for. Spend that time to do it, even if it means that you are going to delay a bit your application. This is generally a worthwhile exercise because the more you can make that recruiter see that you have the qualifications for the role, that you are knowledgeable, you have the experience, you have the skills, the higher chance that you will then move to the next part of the hiring process. So, in your desire to be early in the application process, don't forget to tailor your resume. It is an important thing to do to help the recruiter understand that you are one of the best candidates for the role.